Where are our main exposures to pesticides, chemicals, and heavy metals?
For most people, the majority of people aren't farmers. So it comes from food. You know, you read a lot of the issues about pesticides and pesticide poisoning, they're looking at farm families. But the reality now, here in the US, most people aren't farmers. Most people live in cities, in towns. And so when we look at the pesticide exposure, it has come directly from the food they are eating.
What concerns do you have about our soil in terms of our ability to grow enough healthy food to feed society?
We have been degrading our soils very, very rapidly, and in terms of the actual health of the soil and soil organic matter, the life of the soil, but also when we start looking at the fertility. And the fertility of the soil is the whole variety of minerals. So for instance, in industrial farming, they usually only put on 3 of the minerals, which is nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. But we actually know that plants need a minimum of, say, 25, in some of the studies over 43 nutrients. And these are all being run down. And so when we look at the differences in the actual nutrient levels of produce from the 1950s and 60s and now, our current produce has significantly less nutrient level. But, you know, people say, oh, there's no difference between organic and industrial, conventional. And the answer is yes, there is. Because the best studies, and the best one led by the University of Newcastle in the US, in the UK, analysed over 240 comparison studies between organic and conventional and did a meta-analysis, and that study clearly shows that organic is more nutritious. And pretty well all the studies show where organic is really significantly higher is in the polyphenols, the flavonoids. These are antioxidants. And these are the antioxidants that are really good at preventing diseases and also very good in helping to cure diseases. So, you know, one of the advantages of organic food is not just to avoid pesticides, but to actually prevent disease, and if you are unwell, to assist in getting over these diseases.
Is it true that organic farming yields are higher than conventional yields in drought years and the same in normal years?
We have very good evidence from multiple studies showing that in drought years, organic is higher. And this is because of soil organic matter. The word organic agriculture comes from building up soil organic matter. It's, the word was popularized by J.I. Rodale, and he did the first magazine on organic farming called it Organic Farming and Gardening, and also set up the first organic research station in the world, the Rodale Institute in Pennsylvania. Now, what their research and others have shown is that as you increase soil organic matter, you increase the water holding ability of the soil. So when it rains, you can trap that water and hold it. When you go into drought, the organic now has far more water. And so the research shows that on average in these years, organic yields 30% higher. And this is really important because when we talk about feeding the world, 98% of the world's agriculture is actually rain-fed. And I know people say, oh, with climate change now we're going to have to irrigate it. The reality is, one, we don't have the funds. Secondly, to irrigate 98% of the world's agriculture means damming every river, draining every underground aquifer, building millions of miles of canals. You know, that's an environmental disaster. But anyway, it's never going to happen. The only way we're going to survive is by making agriculture more resilient to these climate extremes. And the fact is, that through good organic agriculture we can do this is going to be really important as we go into climate change so we can have food security.
Is it true that we'll starve to death without pesticides?
It's the other way around. We're going to starve to death if we continue down this pathway. At the moment, industrial agriculture is completely unsustainable in the amount of damage it's doing. And it's becoming lower and lower yielding because they're destroying the soil. You're seeing now more and more fertilizers have to be used, more and more pesticides have to be used just to maintain yields. In many cases, yields are lower now than they were in the 1970s. And that is because they're burning out the soil. The opposite is true with organic. As time goes by, organic actually gets better, yields go up. And we know that we can get higher yields with organic. At the same time, we improve the soils, we improve the environment. We're not putting all these toxic poisons in. So the only way we're going to feed the world is by going organic. All we're doing now is, with conventional, and I think particularly when it comes to climate change, because it gets lower yields and drought, and we're getting more droughts and extremes, we're going to cause massive food problems with conventional, whereas by going organic, we're going to ensure that we have food security and we have a future.
Can you sum up everything we've talked about today in 15 seconds?
Organic agriculture is our future because it does not use poisons, so it means our health and health of environment is better. With best practice organic now, we can get higher yields. Very importantly, we know that organic is more resilient when it comes to the climate extremes that we're getting with climate change. We know organic can get 30% higher than industrial. The fact is, the other issue with organic is this. At the moment, the world is losing millions of farmers every year, but we are gaining around 200,000 new farmers a year. That is because organic is the most successful system. The fact is, the future is on our side. We are the future, and we are on the right side of the future.
What's the one thing I need to do today?
The future of our children. What sort of society poisons its children and causes them damage through poisons in their food? That to me is idiocy. And we know that changing your diet to organic, those poisons will start to disappear within 4 days. And we need to eat organic for the future of our children, because the fact is our children are our future.
What is it about the Real Truth About Health conference that makes you want to come here and speak?
Health is the most important thing. I'm someone who's actually had a lifetime of chronic ill health. And I've fixed up my health through diet and also avoiding exposures to environmental toxins and other issues. It doesn't matter how much money you've got. It doesn't matter how much property. If you haven't got health, you haven't got anything. Believe me, if you've been through ill health, you know how important health is. That's why I wanted to come here, because this is a conference that talks about the real truth of health, and that is diet, avoiding toxins. What are the problems and the solutions? And for me, that is critical, and I wanted to be part of that. And I also wanted to, just show that I support the organisers of this, because this is information we need to get out far and wide for the future of our planet, of ourselves, and for our children.
For people that want to learn more about your work, where should they go?
Just Google me. I'm all over Google and YouTube. My books, go to my publisher. I prefer people to go to my publisher, which is Acres, www.acresusa.com. And my books are there, plus heaps of other really good books by other authors. And also, I suppose, the organisation I'm with at the moment, Regeneration International, and that's just www.regenerationinternational.org, and you'll learn about what we do.